What is up, y'all? I'm Benjamminoutdoors, and this is my channel. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're actually looking at another product that I'm adding to the arsenal of equipment in my Overland F-250 build. Now, this is not a necessity. This is a luxury item, but for a homegrown Floridian, it kind of is a necessity. Now, Morgan is a huge supporter of being and staying warm. Now, we're actually looking at traveling into next winter. So we're looking at traveling all summer, all fall, and then into the winter time. And if you know anything about out west, it gets pretty cold. So this is going to be really, really useful. This is a Chinese diesel heater. It's from Vevor. Now, they did send this to me, but I asked them, I was like, hey, can I be 100% honest? They're like, sure. So I have no obligation to say anything positive about this. Now, I will say, I think it is 10% of the price of the original manufacturer of this product, basically. This is a copycat of a similar product. So it's 10%. I mean, it's like 130 bucks, 140 bucks. So it's already pretty cheap. But let's see if it's even worth 140 bucks. I mean, it could not even be worth that. So let's open it up, test it out. Now, there's a lot of videos of showing things right out of the box that's wrong with it, but most of it's not major. So anyway, let's open it up and see. It's orange, that's cool. Put some Auburn stickers on it. War Eagle. Some vents, nice little pamphlet, technical support and e-warranty certificate. And this is the diesel heater that comes in an entire unit. There are the ones that you can get the burner like just separate and everything in pieces without the casing. Aw, it's so cute. Oh, there's a box underneath it. Not too bad. It's a little big. I mean, obviously on an Overland build, you want to try to save weight, but if you're talking about surviving in super low temperatures, it's not that big. Got a remote. Thermostat looks pretty nice too. So 12 volt right here, just bare wires, a fuse. Actually, let's hook it to a battery real quick. Boop. Okay.
Start heating. Stop heating.
Turn it off because I don't have any fuel in it.
I wish you a safe journey.
Interesting. It wishes me a safe journey. Looks pretty nice screen though. Obviously, they built a diesel heater for under 150 bucks. It's not going to be, you know, state of the art, super nice. The biggest thing for me is, does it run, you know, reliably for a few years at least? That's my biggest concern. And how simple is it? Like, can I repair it on the trail too? Like, I mean, that's also another big thing. Container. So right here, you got a kinked fuel hose. So that might be an issue right off the bat. Like right here, that's a pretty decent kink. Honestly, I think it's fully closed off. So if I would have put fuel in here immediately and tried to run it, it probably would not have got any fuel. So that's kind of why you want to pull this thing apart and inspect it. It's just a really tight space to be able to try to do that. You really need a right angle, like a fuel adapter or something. I mean, Now looking at the stuff on the bottom. One is intake, one is exhaust probably. But let's go ahead and open up the rest of the boxes. This is probably going to be the exhaust and intake and all that kind of stuff. So we got your vent tube, intake tube, exhaust tube, muffler, and then, oh, probably air filter, and a bunch of clamps. So that's it. So we're probably gonna fix that fuel line tonight, and then also basically put everything together, all the hosing on, and then we're gonna test it out tomorrow. So I pulled the line off, and it looks like it's gonna wanna permanently kink itself if it gets even slightly bent. So I'm probably gonna chop it just behind it, because it looks like there's enough, and I'm just gonna try to probably zip tie it to this electrical wire here, and then just basically kind of give it a twisty curvature thing. And so it kind of sits like that. Because previously it was like this. And pushed in with the the cowl or whatever, it just kinked that. So if you give it like a curve, maybe it'll work. So I think it's good. I mean, this down here is too flimsy to zip tie to, but I don't think it's gonna kink again. I mean, even if you put the cover back on, it looks like it's got a nice curvature on it. I guess there was just too much sticking up to where it just kinked it over, I guess. I don't know. But I think we're good. I think we're ready to put fuel in it and test her out. I actually put some terminals on the end. So now I can connect it to an old backup battery that I have. And we can test it out. So we're not going to put any venting on right now, or at least the outlet, because we should be good. We can put the intake, which actually I want to make sure I read the instructions correct, that I'm doing the right ones. It actually looks like this one might be the intake, and this one is the exhaust. Gonna get some of the hose clamps. So I set it up the way that it appears in their diagram. Exhaust on the front half of the machine, intake on the back half next to the fuel line. Now I'm going to make sure, obviously this is correct, when I turn it on, if the intake starts getting hot, I'm gonna turn it off. Obviously if the exhaust is not getting hot, then I'll make sure to flip it around. So let's go ahead and flip this thing over and get the rest of stuff set up. Looks like it's sitting on the exhaust, which is not the best design, I don't feel like. So I definitely wouldn't want to sit this on dry leaves or anything. You probably want to build a stand or something like that to be able to sit it on, so this pipe is not touching stuff. Screen is on. I think my get. Oh, frick. Golly, this can freaking sucks. Spilling diesel everywhere. So I got the battery hooked up. I got the fuel in it after spilling a ton. And we're gonna press start. And also, it is currently 64 inside there. So it's blowing. Currently don't hear the fuel pump, unless it's just significantly quieter than the ones that I've seen videos of. Let's see. Let's go max level. It's really quiet, the fan is. So it's gotten colder. Let's see, there might be some in the instructions that I don't know.
Start heating.
So the remote control works.
Supply voltage overrun.
What? Heck does that mean?
Supply voltage overrun.
Surprisable Jobo run. What the frick? I wonder if this battery's not big
Start
enough.
heating.
The battery, I mean, it's a small motorcycle battery.
High voltage overrun.
Ah, so E-01 is abnormal voltage. Okay, so I'm gonna hook up a bigger battery to it and see if it'll run then. So I actually added another motorcycle battery in parallel. Hopefully this is enough battery capacity to make this thing run. I don't have a bigger battery to run this off of. I'd have to get my truck over here with jumper cables. So don't want to do that right now, so let's just see if this works.
Start heating.
So the pump just started pumping. So far though, I'm not seeing any fuel come through. It's increasing. Fuel pump is pumping faster, and it's really cranking out now. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Holy crap! It's like a turbine. So it's hot exhaust coming out right now. It's up to 77. 100 degrees exhaust. It's cranking out. 110. Inside of there is 235, 240 degrees. It's getting pretty toasty. And it is pumping out air. It is coming out pretty strong. It's getting hot to the touch. I mean, it's hard to keep your hand right here. Oh, 280, 290. Oh, 330, 350, 360. That's ridiculous. So I have it on the lowest temperature / fan speed, and the fuel pump is barely ticking. And the nice thing is the controller, you're able to just, bump it up. I'm gonna go all the way to max. You can hear the fuel pump start to tick quicker. It's like a turbine spooling up. The only thing that concerns me is where the exhaust comes out. I mean, you have to be really cautious about that. So this is going to be something that I take outside and put on the ground so it doesn't burn anything, doesn't burn my truck, that kind of stuff. Very, very toasty. And obviously, if you were to have like 20 foot of hose going from this fan to your tent, if you have it on max speed, it would probably still be really hot by the time it got to your truck, even in the middle of winter. I mean, I can hardly put my hand here. It hurts so much because it's hot. And it does have a stench to it a little bit. That is a complaint of these Chinese machines, is they kind of stink a little bit. So hopefully that'll burn off. I don't know if it will or not, but I guess we'll see. So obviously, I'm a Floridian talking about a diesel heater. There's not really a huge need for this down here. This is mainly for my trip out west. I won't really be able to talk about it in a real world situation until we go out west in the fall / winter time. But so far, what I've seen out of this machine is it's going to be very, very useful and very, very nice out there when we do get in those situations. So obviously there is some issues though that I want to work out on this thing before we actually go out west. Obviously I fixed the fuel line issue so it operates as it should. But the biggest thing is I don't like the way this exhaust is sitting. I mean, it can't sit level because it won't bend sharp enough. So I need to either get a different exhaust pipe, or I need to raise this up or something like that, but I don't like that. Obviously, this is a self-contained unit. Some of them have like the separate burner and the parts separate. So if you're doing like a custom van build out and you want to have the burner inside or underneath, and have the thermostat somewhere else and a fuel tank somewhere else, it doesn't make sense to buy this one. So you kind of need to know what you want and how you're going to use it before you go to buy one. This is better for me because it's a self-contained unit. I'm going to pull it out of the truck, put it on the ground, run the piping up into the rooftop tent because I don't want this anywhere near my truck. I mean, it is a cheap Chinese diesel heater, so I don't want to run the risk of it potentially failing and burning itself down, but then also taking my truck with it. So that's why I'd want to keep it away from the truck. Now, I might never have issues like that. I just don't want to run that risk. I mean, even if it was the name brand one, I probably would still move it away from the truck. just for safety factor. I actually had an issue with this high-end DeWalt planer. This thing's like, I think, $700 or $800. I actually had an issue with the motor burning up on it. And this is a name brand planer. Now, it probably was still made in China, but I think there was a wire loose and it ended up shorting out and frying the motor. But anything can happen, no matter whether it's a cheap Chinese, expensive Chinese, or even sometimes American made. Stuff can happen, and when you're on the trail, you don't want to leave anything up to chance. So that's why I'm going to put this thing away from the truck, regardless of how reliable, how safe it is. I just don't want to run the risk. And after we sort out all the small issues with this thing, I think we're going to really enjoy it. Because a Floridian and an Alabamian, we're not used to the frigid cold out west. So it's going to be really nice to have this, in our arsenal. And if you want one, there's a link in the description. I don't get commission or anything. They just wanted me to put it in the description because they sent me the product. But if you look online, you can find them everywhere. Just figure out which one works for you, whether it's the one that's the separate burner or if it's the self-contained unit, the size that you want. Like, this is a 5 kilowatt. There was an 8 kilowatt. I don't think that I would ever need an 8 kilowatt. I mean, the 5 kilowatt probably be plenty for just a tent. And I think there's even a 3 kilowatt, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, I mean, any heat in the wintertime would help out. But it's a pretty neat unit, and hopefully y'all stick around to be able to see me use it in the future when we go out west. Until next time, catch you on the flip side.